We continue our reading in our study time Africa, study time America, study world affirmation with Pastor me, Pastor Roller Rock, Pastor Skate and Shake, Pastor Save a Hole. We continue with tablet 7 from chapter 1, the creation of your solar system, 19 times 2, 38 verses. Lo, 90 and 3 billion years ago, your solar system formed out of a gigantic whirling dust cloud and gas as a result of the collapse of the great star Aum. Elyon, Elyon El, the Most High, Al, Ali, or El, or Illa, who is known simply Allah, Rab, and Yahweh, or Hashem, and Re, and Anu. All these names called by all these people, but is one and the same, who created this universe and the planet called Earth for his blueprint of physical creation, meaning the two entities, the skies and the earth, mark the beginning of everything to come, and that it was the Spirit of the Most High that controlled everything to quicken and come into being, come to life. So he is called El Nor, El Samawati wal Ard, the light of the galactical heavens and the planet Earth. This marked the time when the explosion came from combining two hydrogen atoms to make helium, and then the combination of the two gases, which led to a series of chain reactions exploding and the creation of Shamsun. That cloud of dust and gas existed uniformed in the universe, then it began to collapse. This brought two hydrogen atoms together to form helium. Stars such as your sun stay hot because of the nucleus change in their centers, as 550 and 4 million tons of hydrogen, which is H, change into 550 million tons of helium, He, each second of your sun. The remaining 4 million explode from the center, giving birth to sunspots and electrical storms on the sun. This was the birth of your sun, originally called Apsu, known today as Shamash or Shamshun, by the great ruler Anu, the Most High, the highest. Between these two gases, light, fire came into being. The sun's energy comes from the changing of hydrogen to helium at the temperature of about 30,175,262 degrees Fahrenheit. Helium burns, giving off hydrogen, which in turn make more helium. This is what makes the sun a ball of gas, which is constantly burning. The turning of atoms causing the explosion, also called electrical storms. These storms give off sparks of hydrogen and helium spilling out into the universe. Upon being flung out into the universe, whirling at tremendous speed, the sparks of burning gas begin to cool to lesser degrees of heat and settle in different places within the universe. We call these planets stars and other galaxies. And from your sun's electrical storm came the birth of your solar system, a large universe, a supernova which exploded. This is the third degree of darkness. This explosion caused the reverse action from the expansion to retraction that led to collapse. This supernova was 1 billion light years away at that time. A light year is the distance of light can travel in 1 year. A supernova is a cluster of stars that makes a sudden appearance in the sky, generally decreasing rapidly in brightness. Light travels at 186,272 feet per second over a period of 65 and 300 days. This means light traveled 5,874,273,792,000 feet per second, each 30 and 1,000,000 and 530 and 6,000 years. This supernova was a part of a cluster. All clusters move away from each other. A cluster is one of the many groups of which galaxies exist, 19 to be exact, on this side of the massive black hole, whose vortex opened every 10 Earth years. After a universal collapse in the center, which is a explosion called a Big Bang, producing the sound "ha" from the word "khalaq" comes. It is the same sound that each being comes into this world remembers while they yet a baby. Now, each universe begins expanding and growing larger until it reaches a point where it bounces off other expanding universes and begin to contract only to collapse and explode again, creating and reconstruction new universes. Atoms and cells all do the exact same thing in the human body. It grows and expands until it collapses. You call it death. So the universe does exact the same thing. It dies. When the universe dies, it explodes and causes the reverse of an expansion. The space between galaxies is always getting bigger. So billions of years ago, galaxies was closer and closer before expanding. Before, there had to be a point of starting. This would have all the galaxies crunched together into a small place. 70 and 6 trillion years ago, the small dot or nukta exploded, and this was called the Big Bang, which caused the explosion of the positive and negative forces, causes the negative and positive forces to clash into each other by the will of El, who is outside of your time zone, making it hard for you to understand just how El exists. This was the very beginning, and the time El Sayr, the time El Waqt, El Asra. It says in Quran, in the 13th degree, which has been changed to the 103rd degree, verses 1 through 3. The time of the squeezing when the enocytes, souls, will be squeezed from their bodies. Surely it is the age when the insan, or the enocytes, are overcome by defeat, except for those who are faithful and work to perfect their beings, and who are advocates of the facts and endure patiently. By the measurements of time, when it begins and when it ends, time does not move forward, nor does it come from behind. Time does not ascend upward, nor has it descended from above. Time is now, now is time.